Hello, welcome to 1000 PS TV. Today we're taking a look at the top 5 adventure touring bikes measured, not estimated. On our 1000 PS lap time test track, which is not far from the 1000 PS office here in Bad Fischau, I've so far ridden 126 bikes for you in circles, always under identical test conditions. I ride 10 laps in a circle, and during that I record some lap times. It's a very compact course, with a top speed of around 130 km per hour, depending on which bike you ride. The advantage is that the track has some tricky corners, and it also lets you see which bikes are accessible enough for the test rider, that's me, to feel comfortable in the saddle very quickly. From this huge list, I looked at which bikes are actually the fastest adventure tourers. And in this video, we're going to take a look at these fastest adventure touring bikes. Overall, if I take a look at the list, there are some really exciting candidates, like the Suzuki V-Strom 800DE, the QJ Motor S RT700, the KTM 1290 Super Adventure S, and so on. Of course, you can see that the tires and the asphalt temperature, which we always include in our 1000 PS lap time tables, also have a significant influence on the results. And the results are actually pretty close together. Nevertheless, the top list is quite understandable. If you start looking at, say, 6th place, a bike that just didn't make it, I have to say I'm surprised. On the street, it feels like a real rocket. The Suzuki GSXS 1000GX, I would have thought from the gut feeling that it would at least be in the top 3, but it didn't quite make it, missing the top 5 by a tenth of a second with a 1.09.1. It was running Bridgestone T32 tires, asphalt temperature 31 degrees Celsius. Still, I wasn't able to transfer that incredible street feeling to the racetrack. The big surprise for me is that in 5th place you find an incredibly affordable but good bike, which is clearly weaker, but just rides harmoniously and comfortably, the Kawasaki Versys 650, model year 2022, fitted with Bridgestone T32 tires. This is the 5th fastest adventure touring bike we've ever ridden on the lap time test track with a 1.09.0. And this again shows how important trust is in this lap time format. As a rider, you get on the saddle, and within a few laps, you get a feel for it. Okay, these Bridgestone T32 tires, asphalt temperature 37 degrees Celsius, what can they do? It doesn't have spectacular riding characteristics, maybe a bit of an underdog, some might even call it boring, but it rides well, rides fast, rides precise, and you feel confident to apply power early in corners. At the same time, it has enough performance and engine reserves so that on the straights, you can really open it up and gain time. On the compact course, it even left bikes like the KTM 1290 Super Adventure S behind, which were running Mitas TerraForce R tires. So again, asphalt temperature, tires, and so on play a role, but this was clearly a good combination. And in all the results I see here, it's an amazing bang for your buck tip, the Kawasaki Versys 650. Kawasaki Versys riders are welcome to comment below with their opinions and share their experiences. Next up is a machine that also came a bit as a budget bike, which didn't shine with spectacular features, but in practice, many people would say it's comfortable, harmonious, and easy to handle. That's the Honda Transalp, the new one. So back in the 2024 model year, it was still new. I rode it at 33 degrees Celsius asphalt temperature with Pirelli Scorpion Trail 2 tires and recorded a 1.08.7. With the Transalp, a bit of lean angle clearance was an issue and the suspension was on the softer side. On the other hand, it offered a good front-end feel, and in the chicane corners it had playful handling. I was surprised that this bike was actually faster than the Suzuki GSX, which I feel is quicker on the street. But on this supermoto style course, you only have a relatively long curve, and that exposes a weakness of the Transalp because the soft suspension struggles with a small bump mid-corner. The rest of the course, however, is defined by handling and rider confidence, and the Transalp played along well, which put it in 4th place. In 3rd place for me, a huge surprise, an incredibly massive presence, also fitted with a more enduro-oriented tire. I'm talking about the Harley-Davidson Pan America 1250 Special, model year 2021. It's been a while since we rode it, fitted with Michelin Scorcher Adventure tires and Adventure tire at 30 degrees Celsius asphalt temperature. With this bike, you can see that the linear engine really can exploit its potential in any corner combination. For me, this is the perfect example of a linear engine. You have the opportunity to extract power on the straights and longer sections. The bike feels like a super bike in terms of what it delivers. At the same time, there are no nerve-wracking spikes in load in the curves where you have to be cautious. You can smoothly apply throttle and dose power precisely, sending the torque to the rear wheel gradually. It does this extremely well and can add a lot of performance. Lean angle clearance is somewhat limited in places, but the big advantage is that you can really make use of the power. It delivered a 1.08.7, even though it wasn't running radical sport tires, just normal tires you would use on tours or even some light gravel. Now we come to second place, which has been my personal favorite. I have to say, I think this is the fastest bike. The stopwatch might say otherwise, but the tires aren't fully optimized for a racetrack. They're normal touring tires. Still, the Pirelli Scorpion Trail 2 at 30 degrees Celsius performed excellently on this sporty asphalt. I rode the Ducati Multistrada 5V4S model year 2021 with a lap time of 1.07.3, significantly faster than the previous bikes, but just a tenth off first place. What amazes me about these bikes, older models like this one, but also all the new models and the Rally, is their incredible front-end confidence. They have the counter-rotating crankshaft, breathtakingly good Öhlins electronic suspension, and an amazingly agile front that's both nimble and stable. There are very few adventure touring bikes that inspire such strong confidence in the front end, even with long suspension travel. I think I've never entered corners with such speed and confidence, while also having this powerful engine up top. Compared to the first place bike, maybe I would have had to ride slightly more aggressively in some corners. Maybe drop a gear here or there to get higher revs to the chain. I'm probably not disciplined enough as a rider, so I didn't fully exploit the performance potential of the V4 Multistrada. The bike in first place, on the other hand, is just a torque monster that suits less disciplined riders like me, who shift a bit sloppily. Now, for first place, there's an unusual situation: a tie. In first place, the same bike appears twice with different tires. Every year, on our 1000 PS lap time course, we ride bikes with different tires at different asphalt temperatures, just to show you how different tires perform. And so now, in total, on the overall ranking, it's around 30th place. But here, in this adventure touring bike ranking, it's first place, ex aequo, the BMW R1300GS. Both bikes are model year 2024, but one was fitted with Bridgestone 41 tires at 31 degrees Celsius and the other with Dunlop Sportsmart TT at 40 degrees Celsius. Both recorded 1.07.2. I rode them at different times with different tires and asphalt temperatures, but both times I got exactly the same lap time. On the one hand, I'm a bit disappointed because the Sportsmart TT is a very sporty road tire. I wasn't able to translate that sporty, almost slick-like feeling into lap times on the adventure bike. The GS was still in my mind, and I have to say, that's a weakness of mine. A professional racer would probably have done better. I'm very cautious in my riding style, and when I'm on an adventure bike, I have mental limits that apparently don't shift even with better tires. With such a sporty tire, I should have braked harder into corners, applied throttle earlier and more aggressively, and probably turned off traction control. That would have allowed me to get even more out of the tire. Instead, I was riding at the limits of the electronic aids and my own small brain, yet I got the same lap time with both tires. Still, that's impressive. Just a tenth of a second slower than the Multistrada 5.4S. That's simply because the BMW R1300GS sends strong torque and power to the rear wheel, even if you shift a bit sloppily, and you can accelerate cleanly out of corners. It also has enough lean angle clearance and gives me a good front-end feel. Not as good as the Multistrada, but sufficient to edge the Multistrada by a tenth of a second. The wide handlebars, the solid confidence, and the strong torque engine make it a well-deserved first place. In the coming months, we'll ride the adventure bike also with different tires and see what results come out. For example, a similar BMW R1300GS with Michelin Anarchy Adventure tires, a rougher tread, only managed a 1.09.1. That's about 2 seconds slower than with the sporty road tires. So for performance-oriented riders, these road tires are worth it because the course is very compact. 1 or 2 seconds may not seem like much, but on a tight course, that's a lot. You can also see that displacement doesn't always win. The Kawasaki Versys, for example, performed very well for the smaller bikes. Feel free to comment below whether you're happy with my performance, or if I failed somewhere, or if another bike should have been higher up. And maybe it's just the rider's fault that it wasn't. Fans are welcome to show their support for their brand and post your opinions below. Top 5 adventure touring bikes measured, not estimated.